Well, hello everyone, welcome to today's live stream. Everyone's doing very well. As you can see, I've got my faithful assistant with me already, who is going to be, hopefully, not being in the way too much, but that's not looking great so far. I think we've got a cat that is going to be trying to help, but also being severely in the way. This is what he's doing, and he's just going to lie down. Cool, on top of the instructions. Hey Vortex, how you doing? Oh my goodness, this cat. Now, up in the corner here, I decided to put up a little bit of the Gundam anime for people who want to kind of see what type of thing we're working on, or what these things would look like if they were in action. At least that's the idea. Also, if you are just tuning in for the first time, we are building basically a plastic robot, I guess is the best way of putting it. We've made a start so far. That's what we got so far. So we've built the body and kind of part of the backpack and the head, and we're going to kind of continue working on it today. Hence why it's part 2. Hey Nix, how you doing? Vortex, yeah, I have checked Clive's fur, including Clive's fur that's on the floor, for the missing piece. We're kind of not talking about the missing piece. I think that's the plan. Is this Clive? Excuse me? Is this really helpful? This is the most helpful thing that you could think of doing, and now you're trying to take the file. Okay, well, I think we might have to move him. Hunter, you've managed to have the day off work to watch this stream. You've taken the whole day off just for this. I appreciate that. And yeah, I know. No, but we're not using that yet. We're not. This is just like, this is cat people problem things, isn't it? This is what this is. So yeah, we're going to be working on the arms today, at least starting off on the arms, and then we'll probably move on to the legs if we have enough time, Clive. Yeah, I know, mate. So yeah, we'll probably have to pop Clive onto the floor so we can actually start this, although he is the star of the show. So I've got all my runners spaced out, so they call them runners, not sprues. I use the word sprue because it's a sprue. But runners are out in alphabetical order. Clive just checks to make sure they're in alphabetical order, obviously. He says, yeah, they might be. He doesn't know, he can't read. Decarabia. That's a name, isn't it? Your cat is also named Clive and is a tabby as well. Oh my goodness. Clive is like quite an unusual name. Like, I tell people and they laugh. If I'd known that I was going to name... Well, if I knew that I'd be shouting my cat's name all the time, I would have named him something that didn't sound like a geriatric man. And he's off. Can you wobble the camera a bit more, mate? Can you do that? Don't chew on that either! Goodness me. Right, we're going to start going because Clive's moved. I'm going to make the most of it, I guess. So, it begins. Also, I'm getting ready to put an order of things in from Japan, like today, which I'm quite excited about, which is 2 more Gunpla, both master grade, also a couple of action bases, and some new nippers, and maybe something else, I don't know. I'm kind of on the lookout. My problem is that in my head I'm like, oh, I need to make sure it's symmetrical, I need to make sure my collection is going to be symmetrical. But then at the same time I'm like, oh, but that one looks nice. Right, we're doubling up here because of their arm. The arms are essentially identical with front and back, with the exception of when we get to the shoulders. So you can see here, well, that the shoulder armour, and apparently it's not identical, so that's good that I realised that early. So yeah, we're doing this bit here, that's what we're working on, up to there, that's our times 2 bits, so we need B. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Everyone having a good weekend so far? Yep, Boy Racer in the background. Sakura, I'm getting the Mark 1 Gundam 3.0, and I'm also getting, hang on, because I've got the browser window open. Check my account and I'll tell you. Because currently it's sat in my private warehouse. Because there seems to be a real lack of them at the moment. Out and about. Also getting the GP03S, which I don't really know what that one is about, but I like the look of it. I like its colours, so for me that is enough to decide that I need it. Obviously the old, the original Gundam. It makes sense if you're going to have a collection of something that maybe you should have the thing where it all started, or at least where the anime started. As I said, you can see going on up here. It's angry little Amuro. Wait, this is difficult. Wait, how am I not pointing the right way? Oh, you can see it's there. But yeah, that's what we're gonna go for. I don't have the sound on it, just so we know, because it's going to be a little bit well, risky for copyright stuff. J26 is saying you've just finished your garden for the day. Nice, nice, nice. Do the old snippy snaps. Just point to my face. Oh yeah, up here. It's Fair Hunter. I do like mecha models in general. Like my love affair with robots began with Transformers in the 80s. And thankfully, like, had the local Blockbuster or Ritz video store had other anime in there as well, actual anime. So it means that I kind of got exposed to transforming robot suits at quite an early age. So from there I was like, oh yeah, we need this, because it looked like Transformers. So my mum was like, oh, it's only a PG, yeah, we'll get it. Whee! Hunter, yeah, go for it. Why not? Because that brand or make or series, I guess, that you've mentioned, I think I've seen on HobbyLink Japan, where I get my robots from. The robots. But yeah, go for it. Yeah, the reason why I'm particularly liking Gundam is there's some, I guess, action pieces behind it, almost. In the sense that you've got story and there are ones I want. I say need. Yeah, definitely need, of course. It's not a luxury item in any way, shape, or form. It's distinctly, I need it. And that's some of the ones from the original series, which we'll see up here. So the blue and white robot, you're going to see him jumping around in a minute. I've got that one on the way. Calm down, Clive. That's right, mate. He doesn't like people outside. We will Death Scythe. No, I don't think so. I don't know if I like that one. But I would like to get one of the versions of the Zaku. Because it kind of makes sense that you'd have one of them if you're going to have one of the original type ones. I think it's going to sound awful, but I don't think the Elite Dangerous spaceships are quite dynamic enough in order to make model kits of beyond your 3D prints. But that is just my opinion. Which is just mine. Then again, the Star Citizen ships do look absolutely fantastic. There is no doubt about that. So I banged on about putting things off first order, and I haven't. So let's move that around. It's a lot of small pieces. Like, there's a lot of very small in this kit. Which for a master grade of 1/100, it's unusual. Seems unusual. Yeah, some new nippers would be absolutely lovely to have, because the ones I've got I've used for electrics instead. Legs, hello. Pretty odd that you'd turn up in chat and just say legs and your name is Legs. Is that all you say? Yeah, J26, maybe the Chieftain. Even the keelback might be okay, just because it's got the engines that move. I don't know. Cool story, bro. I'm glad you eat legs. I mean, someone's got to, I guess. I mean, even then, does anyone need to eat legs? I don't know. Question is, how long have you been running with this joke about legs? Someone will get that. someone somewhere will definitely get that. But maybe you will, maybe you won't. But yeah, I want one of these on this side here in the video. I want one of the green guys that you can see. That's a Zaku. Or maybe either green or red. But I think both look pretty cool. So, right. These pieces are horrible, aren't they? I don't handle pieces that are super small very well, which may make me start to think that I could have picked the wrong hobby. Because the more I build these, the more I find these tiny little awkward bits creep in. Okay, so that's those bits done, and now we need just the B sprue. Yeah, I know if anyone is worried about where the Elite Dangerous content is on my channel at the moment, it is coming. I've just not been very well, so I've taken a bit of a break and focused on just doing things that I enjoy, or I want to do. Medication being what it is really kicks my ass, so I've got to do what I can do when I can. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. So if I fancy doing something, or fancy streaming a different game, I'll do that. I've been suffering with a bit of nausea, and flying spaceships, or whilst you feel a bit nauseous, is not super. And I want to make sure that I enjoy my time when I play games, rather than suffer through it for entertainment purposes. Because, you know, I've said it before, this YouTube and Twitch malarkey is just a hobby. Gone are the days of imagining it being a huge empire and making tons of cash off of it. Nah, it's alright. Not bothered by any of that. But on the plus side, so where I'm getting a couple more kits delivered, they're going to hopefully kind of close up some gaps in the colours that I've got going on the shelf already. So I've got one where I built it and it comes with optional armour, but the optional armour is grey. It's a lot of grey, but the actual robot itself is white and blue. But I really like the white and blue colour. It's somewhat striking. But I'm going to have two more that are going to be white and blue, so I can put the optional armour on it. And it'll look like a badass. And that's the idea. But of course, it's all very much me and how I feel about stuff. I'll do it and I'll be like, no, actually, it turns out I like the white and blue on that model. And the armour is not going to be swappable, so... But I got it when I was on sale, so it's alright. Right. So this is one of the two things that we need to do. And the arms and the legs always feel like they take longer because they're very fiddly, very small, very precise. And then you put the armour over the top of them, and they considerably kind of bulk up quite quickly. I guess that's the best way of putting it. And make sure we hold things the right way around for the build purposes. A bit of a flex. Okay, and we have what looks like the beginning of an arm. Hooray! So we need to build another one of them. Snip, snip, snip. Oh, I'm not finished with that yet. I'm surprised Clive hasn't come back over to essentially, I guess the word help comes in mind, but it definitely isn't help. So playing in the top right hand corner, that is one of the compilation movies of Mobile Suit Gundam, which is the first series of Gundam. And this was made in the 70s, which, yeah, I get the animation's pretty dated, but if you compare it to even cartoons made in the 90s in the UK or the US, it's actually really good. Some decent animation. The storyline is pretty typical. There's always the protagonists are always troubled in some way, and there's always some vagueness about, oh, the bad guy's actually bad. I appreciate that. It's all shades of grey. Need that piece. So I was going to try and do this just without having to look at the instructions again, thinking, oh, I've just built that piece, it's totally fine. So nah, it's not. There's no harm in looking at instructions. That's something I think I've definitely learnt at this point. You know what? It's okay. Look at instructions if you don't know what you're doing. Now, it does say build 2 and it makes them identical. But if they're going to be for opposite arms, which they are, then you would think there would be some slight mirroring going on. Try and hide some of these white nub marks with a little bit of knife work. Because what you get is when you snip dark plastic out of a sprue, where plastic gets deformed, then you actually need to put these to one side when I'm working one at a time. The plastic goes white, and of course it's not what you want from your colours. You want your colours to be accurate. You don't want these white patches all over them. So you can kind of go in and you can either reform the plastic slightly, you can chop out the stuff that's not very nice looking, or you can give it a light scrape. And if you give it a light scrape, then you can often get the colour to go back to how it was. And that's what I tend to go for. That's my preferred method of cleaning nub marks. Have I just trimmed out the wrong piece? God, I hate it when I do that. That was a distinct. Hang on a moment. I am slowly building up towards the largest master grade that I've got, and I know it's going to be like one hell of a build, like a real time investment, as well as very, very detailed. So I'm kind of holding off a little bit. Okay, that says that goes in there. Other way around. Doesn't sit in there very flush, does it? But we're not finished yet, so let's not get too bogged down in details. And also on the instructions, some pieces look much larger than they are, and you end up looking for certain pieces and you're like, wait, where's that? Or where did that go? But thankfully everything is numbered. Otherwise then I'd have real problems. Because if it wasn't, I would have no clue. Right. More pieces. So we need the eye pieces. Now eye is gold. So we need I4 and I3. Now this isn't telling me to do this twice, so we know that the other side must be slightly different some way. I do like the asymmetrical mecha design. That speaks to me on a subconscious level, I feel like. Okay, and E9. Yeah, I always feel like when you build the body contains like the least number of pieces than the arms and legs. So you start building and you kind of get caught out and surprised by the complexity. But it's a good surprise. So this bit here, turn that around, that comes under. Is that supposed to notch in? Is it meant to? See, to me it looks like it's meant to actually click in flush. Here it is. So, there we go. Legs, are you just a spam account? Is that your thing? Is that what you are? Because I feel like if you're a real person, obviously I'll continue to talk to you, but if you're not, I'm kind of wasting my time, aren't I? Oh, these are very loose. These are really loose, actually. Okay. Well, there's another piece that we have to put in over the top. And I think it turns into a slider. We want E21. Because I'm hoping that once I put it together, it'll make more sense. which don't know if it does. Actually, it does make a lot more sense, because we've got that there. So when that's gonna come out, it pulls the gold stuff out at the same time. Smart little stuff. So we want E17, which is not that horrifically bad band from the UK in the 90s. And we need G5. Also, the white plastic is probably the easiest to work with, because you can kind of shave bits off and you don't have to worry about it going white from the discoloration and the deformation, which is quite nice. Makes things easier. Okay. And honestly, I wish I'd discovered this as a hobby, even years ago. As it is actually really relaxing, even when pieces go missing that we don't talk about. But I'm not going to stress myself out about looking for it. I'm just going to calmly find it when I find it. Okay, so now so that must mean when that opens out, no, the gold stuff gets put out. Yeah, Vortex, I know. So Hunter, basically what happened was that I snipped off a piece and it was really small, and I thought I'd hold it with some tweezers in order to then trim it to the correct size because it had some flash on it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then, well, you know how things don't always go according to plan? Or simply put, things didn't go according to plan. And it pinged off somewhere in my flat. Not a clue where. And the piece is tiny. To the point where you'd have to know it was missing to know it was missing. And it's not just it's not a piece that's important to structural integrity, but it is to looks. So what it means is I'm going to have to go through my little bags of spares and decide whether or not we use some spare parts to make something to fill in the gap. It's obviously the way it must go. Okay, just need to get the cuff. Some B. No, Alan, it did not. And we're trying not to talk about it, although, see, Hans wasn't here for the last one, so I'm having to explain it. What happened? It's pretty painful, if I'm honest, memory-wise. It's talking about it. Still a pretty fresh loss. So that's what that is. And the problem is that I've still got I need to see that I talk about symmetry. I don't mind asymmetrical kits, but kits with only one bit missing that's really obvious, not great. I mean, I don't even know if it's that obvious. But I know. And isn't that enough? So the nubs go on what side? Let's hold this in the correct orientation. Right. I suppose turn it around. And G1. Yeah, Kura, I think I've got some bits that I can actually use. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough at this point when it comes to the modelling on this scale to make something look weathered or damaged, and I feel like you'd have to go for, and if you were going to do that, you're saying goodbye to any bare plastic. You're going to need to paint the whole thing. And then you add your battle scarring in and all that. Like I say, not quite. Oh, it's the wrong way around. That's a good start. Not quite there. The thing is that when it comes to smaller scale, I'm good with, but you get to as large a scale, and you suddenly have a lot of like flat panels there where you're like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, how would I go from an edge into that large flat panel? And that's what I struggle with, because when I used to do Warhammer, you didn't have those large flat panels. So I don't know. That goes on there, then we need to make a hand. C. Have I seen C? Got A, B. Jumps to D. There's no... Found it. Literally a sprue dedicated to hands. I'm like, wait a minute. Do I even have that? And also, it's not... They aren't cheap as kits go. So if you were to decide to go and try that, for example, you could potentially damage your kit and have it look like a piece of crap. And that's honestly the last thing that I want, is any of my models that I make to look like a piece of crap. Or worse than that, you think it looks great, but it looks like a piece of crap. Okay, need the thumbs, and the thumbs aren't on here, they're somewhere else, for a reason. So I said it before, that not all master grades are built the same. So the best example I've got is the Musha Gundam that I built. So it's a samurai looking one. That has fingers that actually curve, like all of them are jointed. But then these aren't. Hey, molded salads, the answer is no. No chance. Zero chance of me doing a piece-by-piece recap of everything you have missed so far. And I say that with great joy. To be fair, we haven't actually done that much. Because it's arms, and the arms are... We literally going to see it the other way around, on the other side. Okay, are we going to go with a gun holding hand or splayed fingers? I think we do splayed fingers and come back and swap them over if we need. So the jointed one, say for the Musha Gundam, the thumb comes in and bends in the middle. The fingers actually roll over and tighten, so they've got a joint there, there, and then one in the middle. And that's a master grade. This is also a master grade, and it doesn't. I think a lot of it comes down to who the designer is. I say make mecha fingers great again. And then that will pop in there. And just whilst we're here as well, is thanks, Molded Salad. I thought that'd be a good. I thought it'd be a good idea. We will pop an. I would say pop an arm on, but I suppose that's the armor's gonna have to go on there first. So no, we won't. We'll put it there as completed pieces. Yeah, Kuro, it can be. The interesting thing about it is that it comes on a sprue where it's already pre-molded. So it's got different pieces where it's pre-molded in it. It's different colours of plastic in the joints. Absolutely amazing. And they do it with the legs as well. I'm genuinely impressed with it. That level of model making I've not seen before. Some fizzy blood orange water, because I am obviously super posh. So, this little piece that we broke out before, which we shouldn't have done. I always feel like when you're building arms and legs of stuff, you do one first and then you do the other one second. Obviously, that's how things work in order. But you do it and you learn from the first one, so that when you come around to do the second one, it's better. Like, you just do a better job. Okay, so we need parts 3 and 4 off this one. Molded Salad, no, I didn't. Alan, no, it's not the case that some are more equal than others. It's just they're just not equal at all. And it's kind of like, I think it's generational gaps. So some of the older ones might have had more effort put into them. Than others, you know, it's all things are a bit of a gimmick, so they try them out and then they don't work or they don't translate very well. Alright, Kari, catch you later. That sounds very much like me playing StarCraft with the boys. It's don't always go very well. Because the thing about master grades is not every... They're kind of, not only they're not equal, but they're also not made in the same times. Like, they're not all, this is how we make them, this is what master grades look like. It's the case of they produce them sometimes years apart. Like, I mean years. Let's see if I can find an example, even in here, because sometimes they... Right, 2013 on this sprue. 2014 on this one. So they're made a year apart. 2013 on that. 2014 here. Hopefully that kind of gives an idea. That kind of... What is he saying random dates? My stubbornness of refusing to look at the instructions once I've looked at them once as well is probably not going to play into my benefit in any way, shape or form. You know, I remember when I used to make stuff from Warhammer. I was into 40k more, so I used to have a Space Marine army, and I used to just twist stuff out of the sprue, and they would just get absolutely murdered in the process. I'm like, why did I do that? What an idiot. My words. I might as well snip this one out as it is in my hand. Right. My last words on the missing piece, because I said it before, it's emotionally harrowing, is it is possibly under the sofa. Or maybe it's in my clean washing basket. I don't really know. And I haven't had the inclination to roll around on the floor because it's been too hot. Although now things have cooled down, so maybe I will. But then again, it could also be literally anywhere. I kind of only know roughly what direction it went in due to the sound. No, Clive wouldn't eat it. Clive doesn't just eat bits of plastic off the floor. He loves licking cellophane and plastic bags. And apparently that's pretty normal for a cat. That's what they like to do. But doesn't eat random stuff like that. Because it's not food. He knows it's not food. As Nick's mentioned earlier, have I checked his fur? Yes, I have. He has been brushed since. So who knows? Who honestly knows? So I will say in this kit, the there's not, I don't quite have the same quality of plastic as others that I have built. Like the grey seems very, very soft. But yeah, we have had some epic thunderstorms over the last couple of days, and I'm so happy about it because I was getting to the point where I was actually struggling with the heat so much that I didn't know what to do with myself at all. There might have been some pacing backwards and forwards. Mrs. Plater might have had to have dealt with a unreasonably grumpy me. On top of that, I was also worried about Clive and the heat because he struggles to breathe when it's too hot. So he becomes my main point of worry. But he is much better now it's cooled down as well. Which, to be honest, is the most important thing for us. Me being a grumpy kid over the heat doesn't have to worry about that. Oh, what are you saying, Alan? Next week, supposed to be going for a drink with a woman. Hoping for nice weather, so beer garden and forecast it's basically perpetual rain. Well, it's fine because you can go for a drink inside. Hunty's saying you haven't had any real storms from rain, a couple bits of thunder. Well, that's still storms. No palm leaf fanning, Clive. He'd freak out. And Panna, you're saying that you're south coast, cloudy, muggy drizzle with no storms yet, but you are overall cooler than inland. So there is that. Yeah, we've had great bits of thunder to the point, and storms to the point where when the rain started here, I actually just ran outside and walked straight out into it, and it was glorious. And it's brilliant. The shopping centre near us flooded. Like, it had water bubbling up from the ground, which is great. And one of the reasons why it's particularly good is they've been accusing us of having a leak recently, causing some leaking into the shop below. We had a plumber around on Friday who has confirmed that we definitely do not have a leak. And then that happened. It's like, where's your leak now, bitches? Which is a little bit of a bit petty of me, but I don't care. Like, for months. They've been banging on about this leak. I'm like, nope. And having been down to the shop that we're allegedly leaking into, I looked at it and there is no way on earth we could have a leak of that magnitude without us having huge quantities of water in our flat at the same time. Like, it's like someone's literally just turned a tap on and left it running. Molded sand, no, I only went out wearing clothes, it's fine. But when I got outside, I wasn't the first person who had the idea. I also wouldn't call it quite as far as leak gates at that point, but like leak annoyance. Because at this point, I've had a plumber around, and if the shopping centre wants to try and come at us again, I'm just going to say, look, you're harassing me now. I'm not going to play the cancer card hard. Oh yeah, guys, I haven't mentioned it yet, but we are an hour and 10 minutes into the stream, and if you haven't already and you do fancy it, hitting the like button on YouTube, it does help me out actually quite a lot. It does make a real difference. So if you haven't already, please do. It won't hurt. Oh, Panna, wait till I'm at the missing pieces for. What do you think it pinged off underneath his sofa as well? Okay. Shoulder armour. And that's what point we're up to. So, two. Right. I've got some two twos to do. So some bits that we will be doubling up on, which is fine. So that's actually makes things a little bit easier. I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, what? What? Also, anyone who has joined in the last hour and isn't entirely sure what I'm doing, good news is I'm not particularly sure either. but I am working on building a double X Gundam model from the Gundam series of anime. The modelling process is also known as Gunpla, also Plamo, that kind of thing. So if you're into mecha, and I'm not talking about going on the pilgrimage to it, I'm talking about mechanical stuff. It's like big robots that fight each other, then this is definitely a cool thing, and it's probably for you, but you didn't know it. The same way I didn't know it until I'm doing it. Yeah, it's my new hobby, my fairly new hobby. I've been doing it for a couple of months, really. It's very relaxing. Thought I meant Mecha the bingo hall. Garnix. Outrageous. Kuro, I think that's a custom build, mate. Yeah, I think that'd be a custom build. I'm going to need these sprues again in a second. Yeah, it is a little bit addictive. But then again, I really enjoy the super chilled outness, the zen of building stuff. There are some frustrating moments, but only when I do stuff wrong. And the interesting thing is that when I say double X, it's the word double and then the letter X, as opposed to XX. Work that one out. You know the rules on the internet, Kuro. If you can think of it, someone's probably done it and made some adult content with it. Now there's something that isn't super clear in here, and that's which way this little bit should be. In fact, it actually only goes in one way, so it's fine. It's very clear how it goes. Alan, you've got sunburn. No! It's so easy to not get sunburn. Come on, man. Even if we ignore the fact that sun damage gives you cancer, right? It hurts. And you can just easily avoid it. Mrs. Plater actually has encouraged me. Like this one I'm building now, she bought for me. Alan, have you tried indoors? That's my very serious suggestion. Have you tried indoors? Because that works. I know it's boring, but it means you're safer, especially if you burn. GT, honestly, I don't know. Because you're in Oz, aren't you? Now, obviously we don't have to worry about the same things you do down there. But now, I'm saying this, right? Just so you know, Alan, because I want you to look after yourself. Not to pick on you in any way, shape or form. Also, I wear factor 50 when I know I'm going to be in the sun. And that works. Reapply, move into the shade when you have to, which means before you're burnt. And once you're burnt, you stay out of the sun. That's it. I'm super serious about this. There are very few things I'm this serious about. This is one of them. I will say I've never been to the Southern Hemisphere. I'd like to. Oh, Mold's known the answer. Good lad. Glad someone does. I mean, honestly, in the UK we are quite lucky when it comes to weather. Winters actually aren't that mild, and summer typically isn't that hot. And when we do have storms, they're pretty rare. It's not like we get tornadoes or anything like that. Oh, here's a question for you guys. Actually, Mold Sound, you kind of prompted me there. You know how vampires get burned by the sun? Burnt. The moon just reflects the sun's light, doesn't it? And that's how we can see it. So why don't they get burned by the moonlight? And yeah, I suppose we could... I've answered my own question again. I guess the intensity is different, isn't it? It's not the same. I suppose it's the... And can you see by moonlight everywhere you go, like it's daylight? No, I can't. Right, we need this one again. It has to be direct. Right, okay. That's what we're saying, it has to be direct sunlight. Yeah, Vortex, the reason it's solar radiation, it's not super. It's not exactly a joke. Then why do werewolves transform in full moons? Well, the difference between werewolves and vampires is that vampires are real and werewolves are magic and make-believe. Well, it's part of a curse, though. That's originally in werewolf fiction. It's part of a curse. That's how you get cursed with lycanthropy, and you then become said type of animal, were-animal, because of the curse. And it is that once every full moon this happens to you. And the idea being, it's like, oh, it's super inconvenient because you guarantee that you're not prepared for the full moon despite it being completely predictable for thousands of years in the future. Oh yeah, well, I personally think the vampires do actually have reflections, and it's just a myth that's been shared to be like, oh, vampires have no reflections, and it's actually shared by vampires, so that people think, as everyone they encounter magically has a reflection, they can't possibly be a vampire. Yep, vampire fake news. Imagine being a werewolf now and being surprised by a full moon. You've got to be really phoning it in. It's like, dude, we can literally predict that down. Like we know. It's like, I didn't realise. Okay, well next month make sure you pay attention to it. Oh no, I'm out on a date. Oh no. And so on. Hear that crying baby? That crying baby is across a road and in a car park. And yet still I can hear it. Outrageous. So, right shoulder. I guess speaking of crying babies, I'm gonna casually plug Mrs. Plater's stream that she's doing later on today.
I thought for a second you were going to call me a crying baby.
What? That makes no sense. Why would I call you a crying baby?
I don't know. I wasn't really listening.
Okay.
I just heard speaking of crying babies.
Oh yes, Mrs. Plater's going to be streaming later on today with some more Sims 4. Are you doing your baby challenge?
Yeah.
Yep, well, she's going to carry on with the 100 baby challenge. How many babies you got so far?
Too many.
You're a bad mother, you don't even know.
It's been a while. Listen. I know one of them's evil. And he wants to be a vampire. And one of them's named Kentucky.
Yeah, they are. There you go. That's happening at 7?
Yeah.
At 7, that's happening. Oh, hey. Hey, Laurie, how you doing? Yeah. The good news is that she dislikes the crying babies as much as everyone else. So just turn the sound down a bit when they cry. Which I think is a smart move.
Only you could do that in real and not be branded a terrible parent.
Yeah. Okay. Right, well, we need a sticker. Joy. Because we know how I love doing the stickers. Yeah, I can understand being fed up with heat. That was me all last week. And now this week, or since Tuesday, when the rain hit, the rains came. Big difference. Oh, you want to show what everyone was going to look like? It's going to look like this. Exactly the same as that. Identical. But possibly more likely like that. If it would focus, that would be good. Come on, camera. It needs nothing in the background because it thinks that's what it's looking at. But yeah, it's going to look like that. Got my trusty tweezers. Oh, hi Boris, how you doing? What is? Oh yeah, that explains why I managed to miss you. Hello, sorry mate. But yeah, it's a model. It's a robot model. That's the best answer I've got. So it's based off of the Gundam anime. Going on there. Like that. That's the one. And yeah, that's kind of it's a mecha, Japanese mecha. Okay, we need a front piece and a back piece. So you can see I'm building some of it here. We've got some of it there. That's body and head. And then we've got an arm. No, there's the other one. But no, the X rating for it is actually its designation. It's a model number in the anime series. So the master grade depicts its, I guess, complexity and detail level. Because you get various different grades within Gunpla. Going from ungraded to then you kind of move on to high grades. reborns, real grades, master grades, perfect grades. Yeah, they're all kind of like snapped together, and no glue or painting really required. That is horribly stiff to put together. So I'm going to assume that's supposed to come out and then poke out for some reason. Now it looks like it's going to hold a gun of some kind. Have to see. Yeah, there are some with metal parts. And you get some that are the grading and how it works is a little bit peculiar, because you get ones that are kind of a combination of, I guess, models and figurines. So what we'll do is we'll pull this out slightly. Didn't clean that up very well. Okay. Let's get an arm attached, because that way the pieces are out the way. Seems the best way to do it to me. Oh, I've got the right bit in my hand. Alright, is this the one that I've already... Nope. Okay. Yeah, there's one of them which is called the Red Frame Astray, which has like an internal metal figurine, and then you snap the armour onto it, which to me defeats some of the point of the building. I mean, it looks incredible, like the proportions of it are brilliant, but I really enjoy the building process. So that's what I enjoy from doing this. Now, Curry, you seem to know quite a bit about the old Gunpla. Do you have some? Don't think I've actually asked. Obviously, I haven't mentioned it, but all the instructions are in Japanese, and I don't read Japanese, so I don't talk Japanese. I don't understand Japanese. I teach a mean karate class, but that is not the same. Definitely not the same. No, molded salad, I couldn't. I don't have the patience for things like stop animation. And besides, if I was going to do stop animation, I would have done probably like plasticine, modelling clay. Kuro, see, are you sure you can't get them? I'm saying you sure, because I know there's the website I get them from. Do they not deliver to South Africa? Or if they do, is it really expensive? Because for me, if I were to order just one on its own from Japan, it would it'd be about to the point where I might as well actually buy two and order them because it'd be cheaper with postage. It's that kind of point. We'll get them off Amazon. Actually, because I know there's some on Amazon where you get free delivery. Delivery. It's called HobbyLink Japan or HLJ.com. Honestly, they don't have a huge amount in stock at the moment, which I think is down to lockdown for most people because everyone's looking for something to do. And it's a really nice indoor little hobby. Also, I say nice and little. It's not. Punk Prab BVD 92 Rob. Number one. Sorry, what? I'm gonna assume that seems a bit spammy, mate, isn't it? Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Don't know. Don't know calling someone a spammer if they're not, but sorry, what are you gonna I'm not gonna look at your address in your profile because that to me says it is spam. So and I'm going to be super harsh with weak spam as well. Now here's the thing. So this doesn't have any. Doesn't have. Bit of a surprise. It doesn't have anything that goes on top here. Feels like it should do. But nope. Kind of hope it's not though. I kind of hope it's not a bot, so they can be offended. See, I am watching. Oh, are you? Well, here's the thing, right? If I wanted something designing, right, I would ask my wife, who's a graphic designer. So I'd probably do that instead, actually. Cool, right, so he is now armed and will soon be dangerous. Let me do a bit of one of these Come on, you can do it. Camera, you can do this. There is so far. Now, I'm looking at how much we got and how much time we got. So I probably want to stream for about. Going to stream no longer than this going up here in this corner. So we should be able to get the waist done nicely. Excuse me, maybe some feet. Yeah, there are some YouTubers I watch for Gunpla. Mecha Goikotsu is one. He does reviews, and from him, I mainly want to know what's going to fall apart when I build it, because some of them it describes them being as a hand grenade of parts. So if you pick it up or try and move it, it just goes poof and falls apart, which surprisingly you don't actually want. But since I'm not going to be playing with these like they're toys, I should be right. So we need PC 26. These ones up here. So these go in here, and these will be where the where the legs like plug into. To create a not even a ball joint. So maybe it's not. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Get overexcited and build it. Build it. Stop. Back to D. Most of it seems to be on this sprue, which is alright. I don't know if anyone remembers Zoids from the 90s. And 80s, to be fair. Really kind of cool robots that they look like animals, and then they had motors in them, and you could just have them like walk at each other and fight. They were good fun. I had some of them when they kind of came around again in the 90s. And they still make them, but the level of detail on them is absolutely incredible. There's no way that just sits in there. No way. make it look like that's the way. No, no, no. Butt flap time. Yep, that's the thing. Butt flap. And it's a pretty big butt flap. All in one piece, which can limit posability and its articulation. Which hopefully it won't too much. We'll need these bits in a minute as well, so I'll trim them out. So Alan, you said you're doing the trial in Forza. Finished 5th, but then results screen, yeah, suddenly finished ahead of me. Guess not. Yeah, Nightbot, I had I mean we actually the quote I don't think anyone's used the quotes for ages. They're still there. But yeah, some of the Zoids that I had were oh my god, I had like the Ultrasaurus, had Zoidzilla, had the saber-tooth cat thing. Had 2 of them. One was a lion, one was a tiger. But I love them. I don't know where they are. I don't know what happened to them. Like I had them at some point. I moved around and I lost them, which is really sad. And Z Knights. Or Z Knights. I think they're pronounced Z Knights. Which were very similar, but they were robots. Or maybe Kuro, they're trying to work their way back to me. If we were to believe Toy Story. Maybe one day they'll just turn up on my doorstep. That would be freaky all, would it? But oh my god, I missed you guys so much. But, Latino34, thank you for the follow. Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo? That's the limit of my Spanish. That and this one phrase I know about cockroaches and the size of their eggs. Yeah, I guess it kind of is terrifying, isn't it? That the idea that our toys come to life, or they're always alive. And also the idea of the kid that experiments on toys. Actually really dark. Like, yeah, super dark. Yeah, but Zoids these days don't have engines in them. Engines. Technically they don't have engines in them at all. Motors, they don't have any battery-powered motors in them. They just... they're posable kits, but the level of detail is good. Very good. Oh. No, 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 no. Some Zoids were wind up, and some were battery powered. So I also had a Stegosaurus that was wind up. And actually had some real kind of like torque behind it. I felt like. Really put out some force in one direction with its legs, because they were well engineered. They kind of taught you about pivots, cranks, levers. But yeah, I say this is a butterfly, because it will go around here on the butt, and you can blow your mind. It's a flap. Oh, that's got no movement at all. Is that even clipped into place? Looks like it is. Going nowhere. Well, we're speaking about the butt flap, and coming up soon is going to be the crotch piece. So let's not get too excited about the butt flap. I don't know if you can. That might be an only I can do type thing. I think it's exclamation mark del quote hash the number. There you go. Yeah. No hash required. Alright, Panna. Thanks for dropping in. You take care. Yeah, this plastic is really soft. Which isn't always good when you're building a Gunpla. Also, it means it's really easy to trim down excess bits that are kicking around. It means you can trim off too much if you're not careful. Okay. Crunch time. It's not to be too excited about me saying that though. Yeah, the soft plastic means trimming, cleaning bits up means you do actually be careful in case you take off too much. Because that would suck. Oh, and Alan, congratulations on your qualifying race. Go there. It's difficult with the quotes, isn't it? When I say stuff and I'm like, I suppose I did actually say that out loud, didn't I? And here we are, drawing attention to it. Much focus right now. Okay. Right. Again, this is doesn't tell you to put it together, but I'm going to. Because it's going to go there. Cute. That's nicely clipped into place. And there we come up to? I say, it's a big old butt flap that doesn't lift up very far, so the leg angle is not going to be super, I don't think. Also, it's not being quite clicked into place properly, but apparently it is. So, but what this does have, though, which is interesting, is it's got a number of points, from what I can tell, is that you pull pieces down and you can attach an action base. So, for example, here at the back, or this bit at the back could simply just be for weapon storage. It's either be weapon storage, or that's where you're going to put the action base. But, talking of butts, I am going to call time for the stream now, though, guys. We're at 2 hours and 3 minutes, and we're up to actually a decent stopping point before we move on to the legs. And the legs are going to be probably one of the most complicated parts. Yeah, they are. So I think we will definitely hold off on that. So I'm going to thank everyone who's been watching. I appreciate this isn't gaming, but it's a different realm of geekery that I enjoy. And hopefully I will see you guys for part 3. When we move on, make the legs, and maybe get onto the weapons. And then we get to apply all the stickers. All the stickers. That's a big sheet. So, I want to say thank you once again, guys. Follow on Twitch if you haven't followed on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. And hit the like button on the way out. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully, I will see you all for the next stream, which is probably going to be a game. And don't forget, Mrs. Playtest streaming 7 PM tonight on her Twitch channel, KP_paints. And I'll see you all later.